We're going to try and change the factory gray color of this RXM frame to OD green using lemon yellow RIT dye I bought at Hobby Lobby for $2.99. I've never done this before, don't know if it's going to work. It looks like it does on Reddit, so we'll see what happens. The frame is stripped. I'm going to leave the mag release spring in there. I can't be hassled to pull it out. I think it'll be fine. I'm going to go clean this off in the sink, and then we'll throw it in some hot water with the dye. Alright, we're going to get the temperature above 140 as per the instructions on the RIT dye bottle. Then I'm going to dump the RIT in, throw in the frame, and let it sit for 10 minutes or so. Probably shuffle it around a little bit, and then see what we have. Temps above 150. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep it on heat or not, or if I should just turn the stove off and let it start cooling. I'm going to shake up the dye and throw it in there. Still just above 150. In goes the frame. Lemon yellow is the color that someone on Reddit used, and their results, at least according to the picture they posted, looked quite nice. I mean, everything on the internet is true. It's already turning green. That was incredibly fast. Maybe 10 minutes is going to be a little bit much. It's deceptively green. If you wipe off the dye, you can see it's still pretty gray underneath, so I'm going to leave it in for the full 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes and it's a little splotchy looking. I think I'm going to put it back in for another 5 or so. It really doesn't seem like you can go too incredibly long. I didn't measure the mixture or anything, and I bumped the heat up a little bit as well. We'll see what happens. I've got the temperature about 165 now. Another 5 minutes in, it's looking a lot better. I think the temperature needed to be higher. 140 might have been too low for something like this polymer. I know the dye is designed for fabric, so I'm going to put it in for a little bit longer and see if I can get it any darker. It's a little hard to tell because it's still wet and I'll have to let it air dry. After another 5 minutes, it's still kind of uneven here, a little patchy. It's starting to look really good on the inside of the mag well, darker green. I'm going to turn the heat up even higher and give it another 5. Alright, here is the result. I put a black background down so you could see the green a little bit better. It didn't show up as well on camera with the wood workbench top. Here's an OD green shot shell for comparison. I think it turned out fantastic. I ended up leaving it in the wok for an additional 15 minutes while I messed with the temperature. I think the higher temperature is what really makes it work well. It makes the dye take. The original temp I was at, I was trying to be a little bit hotter than what the bottle said was the minimum, which was 140. In the end, I bumped it all the way up to 190 for an additional 10 minutes. It seems that a higher temperature makes the dye take a lot faster. With the lower temperature, it was coming out looking splotchy. The original 10 minutes at about 150, 155, it was quite uneven. You could still see the gray through it somewhat once you dried it off. It's very deceiving because when you pull it out of the wok and the dye water is still on it, it looks very green, very bright. I noticed that right away. But once you rinse it off, dry it off, and hold it up in the light, I've got daylight covered 5000K. You could still see the gray through the green a bit. So I ended up going all the way up to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. And that seemed to make the dye take a lot better. After 10 minutes or so at that temperature, this is the result. Your results may vary because I had that first 10 minutes at a lower temperature. It doesn't seem like it will change color all of a sudden. Maybe that's just this lemon yellow. I don't know if you were trying to go for like a brown or bronze using a different color. I think I saw one online. Someone used an orange shade to turn the gray frame more like a burnt bronze. And I do not know how that would work. But for OD green, we're looking at between 10 and 20 minutes. I recommend a higher temperature. I ended up at 190 degrees Fahrenheit. And these are the results. Thanks for watching.